Hello, I am Lynette Peña from Btled 3D, and here is my presentation for Technology for Teaching and Learning 1, Module 2, Lesson 3, Job Sheet 2.3-1.
Okay, everybody, let us stand up for a prayer. Father God, we thank you for the blessings that you have given to us. We are praying as we humbly ask for guidance as we go to our classes today. We thank you for giving us a pleasant day. In Jesus' name we pray, Amen. So before we start our class, I will check your attendance first. So say present if your name is called. Ella Buscagan, Charmic Encarnacion, Mian Dagoy, Jade Pagodon. So there is no absent in your class today, and that is very good. And now we'll proceed to our next lesson. But by the way, what was our last lesson? Anyone? Okay, Charmic, what is our last lesson? Right, it's all about animation. And now, we'll go to another topic. And that is storyboard. So are you familiar with storyboard? No? There's no familiar here? Okay. So, what did you notice in this picture? What did you notice in this picture? Okay, there's a sequence. So, storyboard is a graphical visualization of shot sequence. Each panel of a storyboard depicts a scene, just like this. Physical environment, set design, characters, and etc. So before I will proceed here, I will show you a video about what is storyboard. What is storyboard?
A storyboard is your roadmap when you make a video. Like a script, your storyboard visually guides you throughout the production process. By planning your video, you know which shots you need to create and how to create them when filming begins. You can get others' feedback early on and make simple adjustments to your storyboard, rather than making major changes while filming.
So, the storyboard is a roadmap. Just like this, it looks like a map, right? But there's a direction. What else? What is storyboard? It is like a plan. Because, why is it like a plan? It is because you have something that you need to follow. So, storyboard allows filmmaker to visualize and refine ideas. It makes the vision, or it makes the story maker or the filmmaker visualize its idea or his idea. So storyboarding is an element to capture and refine ideas, not to create them. A storyboard is an idea where, just like when you have something to do in your day, in a day, in order for you to be focused on for that day, you will write a to-do list, just something like that, to-do list. So another, in making a storyboard, you must need to consider the elements. What is the importance of elements? The element serves as the backbone of your storyboard. So without that, storyboard cannot be. What are the elements of a storyboard? There are 3 elements of a storyboard. So the first one is the main idea. Basically, the main idea is the script. Just like when you are writing a short story, you will write the idea. For example, just like a role play. You cannot perform the role play without a script. So you will write first the idea, what in that scene, what will gonna be happen. So after you write the idea, or the main point, you will write the script. So that is the main idea. Then the next element is supporting content. So what is supporting content? Content could be facts and figures in bullet form or anything else that you feel brings the main idea to life. So what did you notice here? There's a drawing, right? So that is the figure. So based on the title, Attack from Mars. So from the word attack on Mars, it's outer space. So that's why there's a spaceship here. So this spaceship shows us the figures. In these figures, you already understand what the storyboard is meant to. For the next element, the design cues. It will allow you to remember the grade you had during brainstorming. When you are doing a storyboard, in order for you to create a new, I'll just get this. So, in order for you to get here, you will rely from the previous frame so that each frame has a relation. That is the purpose of the design cue. And now, we will proceed to the parts of the storyboard. So the storyboard has only two parts. First part is the sequence of different scenes to tell the story. So I have here the panel that we use in storyboard. So this is the frame where you're gonna put the sequences of the scene. Then the second part is the information provided in each scene. So as what you have noticed, there's a line here. After the frame or below the frame, there's a line. There's a line. So this is where you put the information or the caption. So this is where you put it here so that the viewers can totally understand what your scene is meant to. So there's a for example like this. There's a drawing of spaceship, and under the drawing of under this frame, so in this picture, they put a rectangle under the square. So the rectangle has a caption or the information. So it is about a spaceship on surface of Mars. So you already understand where is the spaceship is. And now we will go on to the types of storyboard. There are three types of storyboard. So the first one is the traditional storyboard. The sketches are drawn with a pencil on a paper. So it is look like this. So this is Mickey Mouse, right? So from the time when the first creation or the first animation has been created, just like this, Mickey Mouse. The first animation of Walt Disney is Mickey Mouse. So in that time, animators only use paper and pencil to have their storyboard because we all know that computers at that time has only limited features, unlike today because of the innovation. Then on the second type, we have thumbnail. Implies a very detailed drawing of each frame. So the thumbnail is look like this. You can see there are 16 frames that been used. Like every movement is very detailed, like movement to movement to movement. Like this. The person here or the character here face front, then look on the side. This is also used by the animators to figure out their ideas. And the last type is the digital. Digital created with a special software. A modern approach that allows you to start from a simple storyboard to depict the first idea. So this is now applicable in our days because we all know that our computers has a lot of features. We can download any of the available softwares in order for us to create a storyboard. So the digital storyboard is just like this. It's way more colorful and more attractive than the other type. And now we will proceed to the softwares that we can use in making a storyboard. So the first one is the Storyboarder by Wonder Unit. This is way more complicated from the rest. So next software is Canva. I know that all of you are familiar with this software because this is what graphic designers use nowadays. You can make your PowerPoint presentation by using this software. Just like the PowerPoint presentation software from the Microsoft Office, you can make your PowerPoint, but this is a way more better. Canva is free, though you can only use it online. The third software is Power Production. This is also free. You can have it online. You can download it. You can search for its installer. The fourth software is Storyboarder. This is the common and most used software in making a storyboard because of its features. It is user-friendly. Then the last one is Panel Forge. Panel Forge is complicated, just like with Storyboarder by Wonder Unit. But all of this, one of the most recommended software to make a storyboard. So I have here my storyboard. So I created this when I was first year college. So I'm sorry if my storyboard just look like this because the printer that I used to print cannot print a file that is in size of. So I just created this using bond paper and pencil. I draw this using bond paper and pencil. Then I took a shot of it using a phone, then adjust it with my desired filter and edit it using PowerPoint presentation. So my storyboard is all about potato fries. So as you can see, there's 8 frames in my storyboard panel. So there's a sequence of the scene. So on the first scene, or the first frame, there's an information there, or the caption that was indicated. And this potatoes was planted a month ago. And on the second frame, then the next day, this potato was being harvested. So that's the reason why the potatoes look so sad, unlike in the first frame. Then on the third frame, then put it in the market and ready to be sold. So they are being displayed in the market. So on the fourth frame, the potato was being sold, and that's why the potatoes being washed and peeled, and the next is being sliced, and on the seventh frame it is being fried. Then on the last but it is already cooked. That's why I entitled it the potato fries story. So now I'll teach you how to make a storyboard. In making a storyboard, you need to follow these steps. So the first step is start with a script. So when I am planning to do this, I already have an idea that my storyboard is all about potato fries. So from the idea that I write a script. So I divided the script, or I divided it into 8 because I will use 8 frames. That is how I create the script to be used here in storyboard. So the next step is create a 2-column chart. So this is the 2-column, or the parts of, you must know the parts of the storyboard. What are the parts of the storyboard? The sequence of ideas, or sequence of scene, and the information. So this is the first column and second column. Just like this. First column, second column. Then the third step, choose the storyboard type. So we are asked to create a storyboard, traditional storyboard. So it's up to you, class, whether you will use the traditional, the thumbnail, or the digital storyboard. And for the fourth, decide on the style. So just like the same on the type of the storyboard. For the fifth, draw your frames, something like just like this. I draw the frames. I draw what will gonna be happen. I will draw the scene in every sequence. Then keep it simple so that your viewers will understand it. I will show you how to do a storyboard. So I have here my panel, in which contains 4 frames. I have here. So the first step that I will do, I will write the title. So I will write the title. The frog. Then I will gather my thoughts. What should I put here? So from the first frame, the frog must be sitting on the stone. Then on the next frame, the frog starts to jump. The third frame, the frog is already jumped. Then the fourth frame, the frog is already landed on the river. So we will draw right now. So in the first scene, as I said, frog must be seated on the stone. So this is the stone. This is the river. There's a lotus here. There's a lotus here. And here is the frog. So the frog is looking on the water. So we're gonna put the information or the caption. So the frog is sitting on the stone. Then on the next frame, the frog starts to jump. So again, we will draw a stone. So your drawing must be identical, unlike this, okay? So there's a river. There's a lotus here. Then the frog starts to jump. The frog is already starting to jump. The frog is not sitting. Then on the third frame, since the frog starts to jump. So on the third frame, since the frog starts to jump, the frog is already jumped. Has already jumped. Bigger. So when you jump, you're gonna put the information. The frog is almost near on the water. It's almost on the water. Then on the last frame, since the frog jumped, then on the last frame, since the frog jumps, surely the frog will land to the water or the river. I forget the river here. So I'll draw the river, the stone, river, tapos and finally, the frog is already on the water. So this is my storyboard. So did you understand, class? So now, since we already discussed the types, the elements, how to make a storyboard, you'll have an individual activity. So last meeting, I told you that you need to bring a bond paper and pencil. Coloring materials are optional. You will draw or you will make your own storyboard. So your storyboard must be all about the funny moments or your funny experience here in our school. Example, you slip on the floor because you step into banana peel. Or your teacher caught you cheating and it makes you feel funny, though it's not. So it's up to you. So you will create a storyboard in 6 frames. So I will give you 1 hour to create your storyboard. So your time starts now. Okay, 30 minutes left. Okay, time is up. It's already 12. Okay, pass your storyboard. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you for coming, class. Class dismissed. Everybody, let us stand up for a prayer. Dela, you may now lead the prayer. So, good morning, everyone. How are you today? What was our lesson last meeting? Anyone? Okay, Mayan, what is our lesson last meeting? Okay, very good. It's all about flyers. But for now, we will proceed to our animation and we will talk about or we will discuss what is storyboard. So are you familiar with this picture? It looks like a comic strip. So what have you noticed? There's a drawing and then a caption or a script. So each of the frames or these boxes has a different figures or drawing. So what have you noticed in the drawing? It shows a different scenes. This is what a storyboard looks like. Do you have any idea what is storyboard? Aside from the picture that I've shown to you, I will show you a video about what is storyboard. So everybody please keep quiet. What is storyboard?
A storyboard is your roadmap when you make a video. Like a script, your storyboard visually guides you throughout the production process. By planning your video, you know which shots you need to create and how to create them when filming begins. You can get others' feedback early on and make simple adjustments to your storyboard, rather than making major changes while filming.
That is storyboard. So based on the video, it is like, or it is a roadmap. A roadmap of what? A roadmap of a scene. So from figures that have been shown, you will know what will be next and what is the previous one. Another, it is like a plan that you will choose whether this is this one or this one. You're going to choose between your options. On the other hand, storyboard is a graphical visualization of shot sequence. Just like on the picture, as you can see, there's a different scene, but in a sequence. There's scene 1, scene 2, and then scene 3, and in this scene 4, and also on. Storyboard, it allows filmmaker to visualize the refined ideas, the ideas of the filmmaker that serves to communicate ideas to production team. So, in making the storyboard, do we need to consider the elements? Yes, we need to consider the elements before making a storyboard. So, what are the elements that we're going to use in making a storyboard? Does any one of you here knows at least 2 elements? Okay, stand up, Charming. Very good. The main ideas and supporting contents. There are 3 elements that is need to consider in making a storyboard. So, the main ideas, the supporting content, and the design cues. So, what is the main ideas? Main ideas is a 1 or 2 sentences, and it is easy for you to audience to read at a glance. So, it is like your script. So, what are you going to draw if you don't have any idea that is in your mind? The next element is the supporting content. So content could be facts and figures into bullet points or anything else that you feel bring main idea to life. So, for example, on the storyboard that I showed you earlier, there's a drawing. So that is the figure here. That's the figure of the storyboard. So that is the supporting content. For the design cues, so it will allow you to remember the storyboard maker, to remember the grade you had during the brainstorming. So you will remember the previous scene. So you will have an idea what should be next. What should be next scene based on the previous one. So that is the design cues. In making the storyboard, you will need to consider the types of storyboard that you will going to use. So I have here the 3 types of the storyboard. So what is traditional storyboard? So the traditional storyboard is the hand-drawn figures using pencils and paper. So this approach was used from the previous filmmaker, just like the example here. Before, the resources are just limited. So by the time that was Mickey Mouse being created, the filmmaker uses only pencil and paper to have their storyboard. They're just like draw. For example, in this picture, Mickey Mouse doing and household chores, right? So the first picture. Then on the second picture, Mickey Mouse is reading how to fly. The next frame, there Mickey was looking himself in the mirror. What about thumbnail? It places a very detailed drawing of each frame. So thumbnail from movement to movement. So there must be no hanging frame there that being shown. Just like this, just like this comic strip. The conversation is from movement to movement to movement, just like that, and so on. This is how thumbnail looks like. As you can see, from the first frame, it is just like what is in the first frame, but the dimension, there is a difference between their dimension. The next storyboard is digital storyboard. So for the digital storyboard, The storyboards are created with a special software. Then this is the modern approach that allows the filmmaker or the storyboard maker to have their ideas being created with the use of computers or any of the phones that is good to make a storyboard. Then it is a very convenient nowadays to use because all of us right now are now using phones or laptops, and we are so familiar for the features. So example of the digital storyboard is here. Before we proceed to the steps of making the storyboard, I will show you the 5 best software to be used in making a storyboard. So the first software is the Storyboarder by Wonder Unit. Whenever you want to create a storyboard, you can have this by online. Next is Canva. So I know all of you are familiar with this because this is so very common today that every of the graphic designer is using this because it is so convenient to use. Because if you want to create a storyboard, you will only search for a template or you will create for your own. You don't need to worry because you will just put some shapes that can be found in the elements, or just like you can start from a scratch without being worried because it is so very easy to use, and plus it is free. But there's a downside of Canva. Though it is free to use, but you can only use it online. So the next software is the Power Production. This is one of the hardest software. Though it is the hardest, it is good to use. And the Storyboard that is one of the most suggested software to be used in creating a storyboard. So the next software is the Panel Forge. So Panel Forge is like the same of the softwares that I have mentioned. This is also available online. So now we'll proceed to making a storyboard. So how to make a storyboard? So in order to make a storyboard, first you need to start with a script. So your script is the backbone of your storyboard. It contains your idea on what will be the flow of your storyboard. The second is create a 2-column chart. In this area, this is your drawn or your idea, and this is in this column. The second column is your output, also the caption. Then number 3, choose the storyboard type. In making a storyboard, always consider what storyboard type you will use depending on the available resources you have. So example, if I'm going to create a storyboard, then I don't have a laptop, then I will use the traditional storyboard type because it is easy. Like I will have the paper and the pen. So I will prepare, just like if I want a 6-frame storyboard, I will just prepare 6 papers. I will just like arrange it. I will draw here in my paper. 7 for the fourth one is decide on style. So it is just like the same on the storyboard type. Number 5, keep it simple. Here is my storyboard. So the story is all about potato fries. I create this using paper. I just draw on the paper, then colored it with the use of color pencil. Then I just take a shot of it using my phone and edit it by adding a filter. Then I edit it using PowerPoint presentation software and save it into PDF file. In the storyboard, I used 8 frames. Potato fries story starts from this potato. The potatoes was planted a month ago. So as you can see, the potatoes look so happy. But on the second frame, what have you seen? A sad potato. Why it looks so sad? Because based on the caption, based on the script, then the next day, these potatoes was being harvested. So Maybe that is the reason why the potatoes are being sad. Then on the third frame, then the potato put in the market and ready to be sold. So the potatoes being displayed in the market so that the customer will see them and to think they will buy it. So on the fourth frame, so the customer bought the 3 potatoes. On the fifth frame, when the customer got home, she washed and peeled the potatoes. The customer who bought the potatoes are preparing the potatoes to be what? To be fried. So on the next frame, the potatoes being sliced. And the next one, the potato is fried using the fryer. And the last frame, after a couple of minutes, potato fries are already cooked. So that is the potato fries story. While doing this storyboard, I follow the steps on making a storyboard because in order to have an idea to what you're going to draw, you must understand the script. So, for example, on the first frame, I put that this potato was planted a month ago. I just wrote them. I just decide whether I will use the 6th frame or 8 and also on. But for me, 8 frame is enough to visualize my story. So it's up to you whether you will use 6 or up frames in making a storyboard. So for your group activity, since we are now in our computer laboratory, I will group you into 3 and each group will create a 6-frame digital storyboard. So in our computers, we have installed Canva and we will use Canva as our softwares to create a digital storyboard. A storyboard must have a 6-frame that shows, so your storyboard is all about showing a cooperation during a group activity. So it's up to you whether you draw or you just capture yourselves there helping your group mates, then put it on the storyboard. I will give you 1 hour to do your activity. Again, your storyboard must have a 6-frame. And the storyboard is all about showing a cooperation during a group activity. Your time starts now. 30 minutes left. Okay, time's up. Now, save your work into PDF file and send it to my email. So my email is LynetteDelaPeña6@gmail.com. That's it for today. Thank you for coming, class. I hope that you understand our lesson. Class dismissed.